Today we're going to cut the crap about all-terrain tire reviews. There's been a trend of people who don't live off-road reviewing all-terrain tires. And I find such reviews to be disingenuous because the purpose of an all-terrain tire like the BFG KO2 is to help people who are going to be off-road daily. Today I'm going to give you my experiences having driven 30,000 miles on KO2s off-road every single day. So we live off-road in the Mojave Desert, so this is going to be a real deal review of what the KO2s were engineered to do. Now first we got to establish what an all-terrain tire is. Unfortunately, over the years, the term has gotten mixed and muddled and diluted into something that it's not anymore. If you are concerned with looks, you don't need an all-terrain tire. If you are concerned with how does it perform in the rain, you don't need an all-terrain tire. If you're concerned about the snow performance of your all-terrain tire, you're not looking for an all-terrain tire. And if you're concerned with how much noise does it make when I go on pavement, you're not concerned with an all-terrain tire. If those are your concerns, you want an all-season tire, or in the case of snow, you want a dedicated snow tire. In recent years, all-terrain tires have essentially turned into vanity tires or looks tires. People just primarily want them for the looks and perhaps some occasional weekend off-roading. So how do you know if you really need an all-terrain tire? You have one concern and one concern only, and that is my crap needs to not break when I'm off-road. That is the premise behind the BFG KO2, the original all-terrain tire. It has nothing to do with increased traction. We'll talk about that in a second. It has nothing to do with rain performance and snow performance or how loud it is on road or how quiet it is on pavement. It has all to do with toughness off-road. It's meant to help people who live off-road and travel on and off-road daily, but most of their time is spent off-road. The original BFG KO tire that goes back decades now was the Baja Racing Champion tire. In other words, it was a desert racing tire. Nothing to do with traction, nothing to do with snow, nothing to do with noise. It was meant to be tough off-road in dry, bumpy, rocky, rugged environments, and it was meant to hold up. Out here in the desert, our main hazards are sidewall blowouts and punctures due to traveling constantly in rugged or harsh off-road conditions. The KO2 was meant to hold up to those conditions without breaking. That's its sole purpose. Ultimately, somebody's going to chime in and say, no, the KO2s and all-terrains are for increased traction. That's not true. An all-terrain tire is not an off-road tire. An all-terrain tire has a Mickey Mouse tread pattern on it that's barely more, quote, aggressive than an all-season tire. A true off-road tire looks like a tractor tire or a mudding tire, a very aggressive dirt bike-like tread pattern that truly will make a difference when you're off-road. So that's an off-road tire. This is a real off-road tire. Again, a tractor tire. These bars, this tread pattern, will do miracles off-road. That's why they're on tractors. Your all-terrain tire, BFG KO2, whatever you want to call, It doesn't have a tread pattern like this. It is Mickey Mouse by comparison, because its true intent is not to grip off-road. Yes, it grips a little bit better, but nowhere near like this. Its main job is to be tough. The tight tread pattern of a BFG KO2 or any all-terrain tire may look super aggressive and blah, 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 but in reality, it's only offering marginal improvements, maybe 5-10%, over a normal all-season tire insofar as traction is concerned. So now that we've established that the true purpose of an all-terrain tire is to not break off-road, I can say with confidence that the BFG KO2 has been a phenomenal all-terrain tire. The biggest pro has to be the sidewalls. I don't know what they're made out of. I know they toss around 10 ply. Yes, they're E-rated. I don't know if that makes a difference. Whatever magic they put into that sidewall, we have scuffed it. We have ripped against rocks off-road, and I was sure we're going to have a blowout. And somehow the BFG KO2 sidewall has taken deep gashes off-road on trails, on legit trails. And we haven't had any blowouts. It's just amazing. The sidewall lives up to the hype, and it solves that problem, that original problem that the Baja racers had. The racing truck needs to get through the course without having any sidewall blowouts when it rubs up against rocks. So it definitely lives up to the sidewall toughness reputation. The second pro is UV resistance. Again, the KO2 is a desert tire. It's a desert racing tire. And if you're on the dry side of the United States of America, you know there's dry rot, and the sun will eat away at your tires and destroy them, and they'll break apart, and you will have blowouts after a while. Well, again, some sort of magic is put inside of these BFG KO2s. Whatever they're doing with their compound, the things simply don't dry rot. Our GX460 that has these BFG KO2s sits out and bakes in this Mojave Desert sun in 120 degree sun for hours and days on ends, and there's no sign of dry rot, and I find that to be absolutely mind-blowing. The third pro is the tread life, and this connects again to the magic of BFG KO2 and whatever voodoo their engineers are doing. The tread seems to wear extremely slow for what it is. Again, it's UV resistant, but the tread blocks seem to kind of almost wear in slow motion, and they don't have a fast wear rate at all. With that said, nothing's perfect. There are some cons to the BFG KO2 in the context of being a true all-terrain tire for all-terrain tire purposes. There is a con, and that is punctures. We've probably got 15 punctures between all four of our BFG KO2 tires in this 30,000 plus miles or whatever it's been that these tires have been on our GX460. I don't know of any tire that's puncture proof. So this is again part of the road hazards out here in an environment such as we're in. It's just what it is. With that said, there is a way certain tires handle punctures. Number one, a sidewall puncture never seems to happen on these BFG KO2s. We've had other tires out here, and a nail always goes through the sidewall if you hit it just right. Those, whatever the side chunks or blocks on the sidewall of the BFG KO2 that you guys all know about, those side chunks, that side profile seems to deflect things like nails from puncturing the sidewall. And what will happen instead is the nail punctures will be limited to the tread, which are repairable, infinitely repairable, to be honest. So what that means is if you do get a tread puncture, the matrix in the tread will hold the nail, and generally it leaks very slow, but it's repairable and the repair holds. And again, that's a testament to the toughness and the tough engineering behind the BFG KO2. So the bottom line here is this. We're not putting these BFG KO2s through suburban use or mall crawler use or looksmobile use. We have tortured these things. They have no choice but to be tortured out here because they're living out here off-road whether they like it or not. In addition, we do go on proper off-road trails all the time. And in both environments, they do the job of what a true all-terrain tire is supposed to do, which is to simply hold up and not break. So if you're in the market for an all-terrain tire for those true all-terrain tire purposes, which is I just need the thing to hold up, the BFG KO2 lives up to its reputation. Now, I fully understand that people buy all-terrain tires out there for looks. They like the way it looks, or maybe it offers some snow benefits or hybrid benefits with this, that, or the other, la, 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 and that's all good. I'm not knocking that. Instead, the purpose of this video is to kind of balance out many of the other videos out there that talk about the BFG KO2 as if its main job is to drive on pavement in the rain. That's not what it was designed for. It was designed for people who live in the woods or live in the desert, who live in the boondocks, or live up on the mountain or who knows where in weird locations, oddball locations, and they need to get there and get out and get back without having their tire break on them. So this synopsis is in that spirit. It's in the spirit of durability, the true intended use of the tire that we're talking about. So if that's your primary consideration, whether you're hitting the trails on the weekend and you just want the toughest tire for real, or you live off-road and you need to rely on the tire being tough, whatever it is, just know that BFG KO2 is one of the toughest tires, if not the toughest out there. So are BFG KO2s the best? Probably, yeah. But what about things like Falken Wild Peak AT3Ws? They're garbage.
Never buy Falken Wild Peak AT3Ws. I'll show you why.
They had to cheap out somewhere, so you have all these little micro cracks. That's where these bubbles are. And if you think that's just 2 leaks, look how many times we plug this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 9 times with 2 other leakers. There's 10 and 11 bubbling down there, those white bubbles. If you wonder why these are cheaper than like a KO2, they had to save money somewhere and the compound is horrible. This is not like, oh, we got a nail puncture. The nail usually stays in on a tire. It's just the compound just hits something sharp and it breaks. A lot of people see that video of our experiences with the Falken Wild Peak AT3Ws and they go, nuh-uh, that didn't happen to me. You must have gotten bad tires or knockoffs or old counterfeits or blah, blah, blah. No, we didn't put them through mall duty use or cubicle rated nonsense. We actually off-roaded them daily for 30,000 miles. And as you saw there, they're not in the same league as BFG KO2s or a top-tier all-terrain tire. As stated in the beginning and throughout this video, we originally had 3 all-terrain tires that were the real deal, 3 brands essentially. Now we got 30 brands of all-terrain tires. Those are tires that look rugged and look the part, but they don't actually hold up to the intended use of the original all-terrain tires that we had decades ago, but are thankfully still here in the form of BFG's KO series. Manufacturers aren't stupid. They know people are buying these things for looks, and Falken can sell you AT3Ws because they know you're only going to go off-road maybe 10 weekends out of the whole year versus being off-road 365 days a year. Vanity mobile all you want, that's great. But if you're looking for the real deal, something to hold up off-road for real, BFG is where it's at. So what about the BFG KO3, the new all-terrain tire that's out now and is supposed to replace the KO2? Is that any good? Nobody knows. It's too soon to tell. What we do know, and what I hope you learn from this video, is BFG doesn't play around. Any all-terrain tire you see from any brand owes its existence to the BFG original all-terrain tire. BFG would be doing no favors to themselves by making a worse tire with the KO3 in comparison to the KO2. What they've likely done is met some of the market demand to handle snow and rain and be quieter on road a little bit better than the KO2. Remember, an all-terrain tire does nothing good. It's not the best in dirt, it's not the best in rain, it's not the best in snow. What it's supposed to excel at, again, broken record, is being tough. Market demand is turning all-terrain tires into the do-everything tire. Is that possible? Who knows? That's a challenge for engineers. But if you're shopping around for all-terrain tires and you see the prices of the old-school brands like BFG and you wonder why does that thing cost $100 more per tire or $200 more per tire than a Falken, etc., it's because there's something behind that. We cannot rely on Falken Wildpeak AT3Ws out here. They will not work. BFG KO2s and BFG KO3s presumably do work. That's the bottom line. That's the science. That's the reality.